Welcome back to War Thunder, welcome aboard the IS-6, welcome to RB gameplay, and this is technically an 8.0 battle, but it's not about the battle, it's more of the result that I achieved with this battle. This was, I guess, on Sunday, the battle that I played to finally unlock the T-55A, which was the last tank for me to unlock, to actually unlock my 873th vehicle in the game, the overwhelming majority of them being spaded, and the Gaijin Partnership Program overall helped me a great deal in that, although I have to say that a lot of the vehicles that I had to spade were respading processes, so the addition of smoke shells, new shell types, or the new engine injections, whatever, new bombs, new modules being added, that actually took quite some time for me. I have to say the personal goal of achieving a spading of every vehicle that I own to spade from rank 1 to rank 4 will be not achieved in this patch. That makes me sad. That's just a new one. There were just too many vehicles, there were too many vehicles to research, too many vehicles to completely spade, too many vehicles to respade, and also overall not enough time for me to play the game. Even with a premium account. More on this in a moment. So, then I have to say I can't imagine the time consumption, the effort consumption for tier 6 vehicles to be unlocked and spaded. Currently it is said that they will require the same amount of RP cost that a top tier 5 vehicle requires, which should be around about 380,000 research points. That is quite something, let me tell you that, even though that I know how to hardcore grind, even with boosters, even with premium accounts, even with premium tanks, even with boosters, yada yada yada. You know the drill by now, don't you? Wasn't that the third shot by the Leopard? Never mind. So, but silver line wise, I guess I'm prepared. 110 silver lines, yeah. Tank buying costs and expert crew costs and, you know, crew training costs, come at me, I have enough for you. Then this will be for sure Gaijin's new gold mine. Not just have to people to buy for their newly unlocked tier 6 vehicles the fire prevention equipment and the repair kits, but also I guess we have to buy new tier 5 premiums. Even though they are not announced for sure, currently the system would be, if we think in a linear way, that tier 4 premium vehicles will get a penalty RP wise for researching tier 6 vehicles. Just keep that in mind. That is the current state of the game. Gaijin might edit or might change it, which I would be more than happy about it, but eventually you know what I'm talking about. Then the next question is it just about tanks or is it also about planes? And then let's, you know, continue the thought, what about upcoming ships? Tier 6? What we will see there? Maybe cruisers? We will see. Then, what about the technological boundaries? It has been said about, you know, fire and forget missiles not being added to the game, which I hardly support. As the CEO said in the interview that I actually saw, there would be not enough gameplay behind that technology to make it fun. Well, I highly agree. I mean, you know, just press a button, rocket flies off, you aim at the general direction of the enemy airfield or the known climbing path, and wow, who fired 5 rockets first gets an ace first. How challenging, you know? I guess you know by now what I'm talking about. But also, what about, you know, technological things that are not implemented in the game yet? For example, the Ruhrstahl or the Fritz X. That was the first radio guided bomb or missile, or I guess it was just a bomb, that was used by Germany to sink some Italian battleships after the so-called Fall Achse. And I think, you know, being dropped from a bomber is not as important in air RB as it is in maybe tank RB if the bomb is big enough. I guess it was around 800 kilograms. Or also the ships, you know, being capable of hitting a destroyer or hopefully upcoming light small cruisers will be quite some advantage from, you know, certain altitudes, because it's difficult to drop bombs very accurately in the floating paths of certain ships. Then the addition of a tier with the announcement that the M60A1 gets the additional upgrade of ERA, you know, and therefore getting a tier upgrade to tier 6, might open up the possibility for some BR decompression. How that will work out, and if it will work out at all, will be an interesting question. Also, I'm very, very interested how the mouse is facing against 8.7 tanks. I'm just saying. So, you know where this is going. I have hopes, but I also have my doubts. But we will see. That's the important message. I guess rank 6 was demanded for current vehicle decompression. I think that was one of the misconceptions of one of the moderators at, you know, War Thunder. But we will move on. What will be the top battle rating? That will be an important question. The next thing is, Gaijin announced that maybe the RP costs for rank 5 vehicles will drop. I highly support it. That will definitely de-stress the stock grind on vehicles such as the Leopards to get the hash / the heat FS shell, and also the patents to also get the heat shell. Then there's the question, what did I work so hard for? You know, because I had to unlock the vehicles for 380,000 research points, and I also had to, I don't know, you know, get the upgrades that will also drop in their RP requirements. The question is, do I get any kind of compensation for that? The answer is very likely to be no. So I slightly feel betrayed, even though before the patch has, you know, hit the death server. But this is how Gaijin business model works. Don't give money back to the players. And, you know, you can understand Gaijin for that, because that will have a drastic impact on their business model. On the other hand, you know, I invested too much effort in something that I can in the future have much cheaper, you know. And even if you cut the RP requirements in half, just for the sake of the argument, to 190,000 RPs, it will still be a very long way for new players, which will benefit the most from this announcement, to get to tier 6. So the matchmaker and the, or you know, how the matchmaker will work, will get stressed out, because I'm not quite sure how many people are, you know, in the range of rank 6 right now, which how many people are willing to go into the effort of researching such a vehicle and to actually play it. That will be interesting. Then I have to say, a new era is coming, and let's just talk about this. You know, that's the title of the T64 announcement, and I'm looking forward to what is coming. You know, will we see new shell types or improved shell types that are already in the game, such as HeatFS, Hash, AP, FSDS, something like this. Then with the new ERA, sorry about this, we will see a revival of some armor meta in the game, you know, that hasn't been around since the old days of rank 4 and the King Tiger. then how will it work out in War Thunder with ERA? Currently there are mechanics in the game that I can see, to work very well with that. For example, after the first hits, the additional tracks of the IS-3 on the front upper beacon plate and also the side skirts of many tanks fall off. That supports actually how ERA is working. It will absorb, or most likely absorb, the first hit from hash or heat, and after that it will, not be there anymore. So the second shell of the same type fired at the exact same plate will kill the tank, or at least most likely penetrate, if we think about the current meta of tier 5. What about new game mechanics? I'm very interested in that topic. You know how much I love to ramble on in my tank reviews about, certain game mechanics. Then how will certain World War II tanks going up in theory against those new era tanks? I'm thinking here about derp tanks such as the KV-2, the Horo, the Jagdtiger with the HE shell, and also how will the overmatch mechanics perform against era. That's very interesting. What about planes? Will they also go supersonic, or at least some of them? Will we see new of them? Again, a question if we will see planes in rank 6. Then I think, and I have to stress this out, if you think about World of Tanks and Armored Warfare, War Thunder combines that in one game with better graphics than both of them, with better game mechanics, more balance, as crazy as it sounds, in one game. I think this is a huge step forwards. But let's just talk about why the 1st April Fool's event was so successful, or why people are liking it so much. The vehicles that you had, you didn't have to grind for. They were fully spaded, they had every shell type you desired, and they had a stabilizer. They had ace or expert crews, and overall you couldn't play it long enough to get fed up with it. Keep that in mind. I'm not ranting about this, just don't forget about those facts, okay? Then I wanted to talk quickly about map design. Those new tanks, in which manner will they fight? That is a question. Then about the Silverline and RP income, I think it should be raised by around about 30 to 40% to equalize with planes, which I think are kind of okay-ish. Then the long run. The top end player base will be kind of thin. That's what I expect. Rank 5 premium tanks again. What will be the price of them? That's another question. Will the price of rank 4 premiums drop? So again, will I get a compensation for that? Or is it like, yeah, you bought it when it was most expensive, so deal with it. Again, I, as a content creator and part of the Gaijin Partnership program, I am not struggling that hard, but other persons, I'm not quite sure. You know, I'm talking here about the average player with an average pocket. Then, might it be 2 necessary tiers for grinding to get all? So you have to have a tier 3 and a tier 5 premium tank to be able to research tier 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 effectively. That's for every nation, and then that also for plane and tanks, and in the future all ships. Again, we are coming back to the gold mine. Then what about the CAS at tier 6? Again, remember April Fool's event with the helicopter and the guided missiles. Then what about, for example, the Zaunkönig, which is a acoustic searching torpedo? I'm really looking forward to those questions being answered. Then I have a short wish list. The compression in BR at rank 4 and 5, comparable quality of flight models throughout all the nations, APHEDS for the 128mm German gun. What about additional Nebelwerfer for German CAS, for example on the ME410, and other proposed things? Then more fast tech tree vehicles at rank 4 and 5 for Germany to support their tactical gameplay. BR adjustments, for example, for the Jagdpanzer 5. In the current meta, I guess it would be fine to go to battle rating 6.3. Think about the heat defense shell for the STA-1 and STA-2. Then crucial for the naval section. More explanations for game mechanics on the or being available for the non-Russian speaking community on the official, War Thunder YouTube channel, for example. Then what about the map design? Big versions of Carpathians or Kursk would be something that I personally would love to see. City maps are something that, is a no-brainer. You can have that in every game. But wide open maps, that is the speciality of War Thunder. Not everybody might agree to that point, but I think it's really worth thinking about it. Then, what about missions, especially PvE? I, talked about this, but what about those new thoughts like protecting a convoy or attacking a convoy, trying to breach through defensive lines with pillboxes and anti-tank guns and so on. Long-range engagements, also with proper RP and Silver Lion rewards, that would be something that I highly support. With this patch, or let's say the next patch, Gaijin has the possibility of having a good impact on this topic as well. It might be underestimated how much people are interested in this sort of gameplay. Then what about realistic battle PvE? Combined arms forces, for example. That would be not just interesting for to be a proving round or a training round, but overall to try out certain lineups, to not just fight it here in RB, where your experience could be kind of strange. Just think about this. Then what about new air RB maps? The community was crying for that. Much longer than for rank 6, which was mostly impacted for jets at 8.0 currently and rank 4/5 ground forces. Then what about more German late war prototypes for rank 5? What do you think about, for example, more versions with the fantastic 105mm combined with the APHE FSDS shell type, that would be crazy, I guess, but I guess with a lot of prototypes and paper or blueprint designs already having entered the game, such as the Panther 2 and the 105 Tiger 2, I guess we could live with that if the battle rating gets adjusted nicely. Then what do you think about those blueprints? Let me know in the comment section. Then I guess for today that's enough. I hope you enjoyed the video. I am certainly very happy with what I have achieved in this patch and in many patches before. The grind is a never-ending story, and I think that is something that keeps me hooked to the game. I love to play War Thunder for especially that part. It's a never-ending story. You always can go on. And I'm not such a huge stat fan, but sometimes, from time to time, I think it's nice to just mention how many vehicles you have, which kind of rare vehicles you have, how to use them, and so on, and also to compare it to other players. I think that's just a natural human thing to do, from time to time, that it be. And yeah, let me know in the comment section which rare vehicles you own. And maybe I can show them on this channel if you request them. Again, let me know in the comment section everything that there is to know. Please give this video a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the waves, in the skies, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.